Hello and welcome to yet another live of Boomer 11. We are live again because the match just got over a while ago and we had some technical glitches, hence the delay. But nonetheless, we are here to talk about cricket, and of course, that's something which we love doing. I have Sandeep Bani with me to join me and talk about the Rajasthan versus Punjab game. As we all know, we talk about this rivalry to be the most underrated rivalry of IPL because every time these both play, the game does go into the wire. Rajasthan did end up winning with 2 balls to spare, with Dhruv Jol really finishing it off with that six of Rahul Chehar. You have to say the 46 runs in the last 2 overs against Rajasthan really did come to haunt them back because now, until unless RCB doesn't lose by 5 runs or more, Rajasthan are just out of the top four at this point of season. Also, they would want Mumbai to also lose. So things look good for Rajasthan because of the win, but not so good because right, could have come a little too early, isn't it? I have Sandeep with me. Sandeep, how are you doing and how did you enjoy that game?
Yeah, I think we 2 days we have got two matches where the premier players have just stepped up a notch. Yesterday we saw Virat Kohli turn in and then score that magnificent century, and also great maturity in the chase as well. Today you saw the youngsters step up on a day where Josh Butler, I think this was the third innings in a row where he got out for a duck. After that run out against KKR, he got out for a duck in the last game as well. Today as well, he got out for a duck. So
Yeah.
something is not going right for Josh Butler. But other than that, I think the youngsters stepped up today. Be it a Devdutt Padikkal or Yashasvi Jaiswal, and a clutch knock by Dhruv Jurel, because
I
no
saw
no
Riyan
matter
Parag as
what.
well. Let's put it right there.
Yeah.
Riyan
Riyan
Parag
Parag.
smashed it.
Finally, I mean, his prophecy of hitting four sixes in a row did not turn out to be true,
Three,
but
three,
hitting
three, three,
Rab-
three. He just spoke
yeah,
about three.
four did not turn out to be true, but of hitting Ravada for back-to-back sixes did come out
Yeah.
to be true.
When it
So
mattered
I
the
think
most.
yeah. When it mattered the most, two sixes against Rabada, I think he'll take it any day.
Right.
But
Actually, you know what? Rain
yeah,
prediction is good for RCB for a reason. Because of RCB, we'll talk about that later. Bangalore, and as it always predicts rain. And the best drainage system in the world is in Bangalore. So we don't talk about that. Go on, Sandeep.
yeah, I think now I think it's only a matter of time where you will like to bring out RCB and how they can qualify, and I would like to bring out even a minuscule chance of a KKR qualifying. But I think we should get past that. I think Punjab Kings became the third team to be officially knocked out. I think KKR and Rajasthan Royals are soon going to follow suit. But so far we have got only three teams that are knocked out of the competition: Sunrisers Hyderabad, Delhi Capitals, and finally now Punjab Kings. So
Yeah.
not the season that Punjab Kings promised to be. I mean, they started out with great promise, but somewhere Shikhar Dhawan getting injured, and once he came back, his defensive captaincy today as well. Today as well. I mean, this is what we have seen with Punjab Kings. They are trusting five bowlers to bowl their quota of 4 overs. Otherwise, you wouldn't have to held back Rahul Chahar to bowl his final over in the last over of the game. That is something that you never wish to do ideally. And also to give a lackluster Sam Curran 2 overs in the death when he has absolutely suffered. But clearly, Punjab Kings did not have many options, and the youngsters. I mean, as I said, Riyan Parag coming in, stepping up when it mattered the most, hitting two back-to-back sixes of Rabada in the death overs is something that he'll be very proud of. So I mean, once again, he scores in that all important game to book his place in this IPL squad for the next season as well.
Yeah.
But,
Absolutely. I mean, I love that knock though. I mean, finally it's come good. I was just checking the weather report and it just says rain, but I don't really trust the weather report in Bangalore. The meteorological
oh,
department
it
in
is humid. It
uh,
is so humid out here. I am expecting rain anytime now.
I mean, it rains every day night, but post 11 o'clock. So that's something which I prefer, and
And
that's
then
something.
also, I think the drainage system is. I agree with you. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
in the
it's the
morning you
best
get
in the
up and you
world.
think
So
that it's gone.
so even if there's a flood in Chinnaswamy, it can clear up in 5 minutes. So that's the best part about the Chinnaswamy Stadium, guys. So we've got that sub air system where it can suck in any water, up to I think up to 2 feet, up to 2 feet. It can suck it down in a matter of what 5 minutes
But
to 10 minutes.
honestly, Abel, if you ask me, right, I think RCB have already won the difficult one, the difficult portion. I think the game against Sunrisers Hyderabad, who had nothing to lose, would have been much difficult than playing a
But I think
Gujarat
I think we
Titans.
don't have to talk about it now. We'll talk about it tomorrow when the game is going to be near.
Yeah,
Today, I think let's just talk about Rajasthan versus RR. But let's talk about Rajasthan, right? I mean, incredible season to start off with. We did speak about them tapering off considerably towards the latter end. And now, after the 59 all out, they coming strong. It was an important game for them. But now, if they look back into the season, I'm pretty sure they'll be hurting a lot. Let's just leave 59 aside. That no ball against SRH, or for that matter, some of the games against Mumbai for that matter as well, where they scored 214, losing to Mumbai there. This was the margins, and IPL is all about these smaller margins, and it's good that they won this game, but still not very convincing though. I mean, they did concede towards latter and lower fronts. Trent Bolt being there has been a massive, massive blow for them, and that's where the spiral started. The moment Trent Bolt got ruled out, when Rajasthan did look like half a team they were, and Trent Bolt giving those 2 wickets up front consistently every now and then just went off, and all of a sudden they looked like a team who did not have bowlers to choose from, and death overs as well. They looked absolutely clueless at this point of stage. But yeah, I mean, Sandeep, let's talk about today's game. Especially, you didn't mention about David Padikkal, you didn't mention about that, but I felt even today Punjab was right there in this game. I mean, they could have done a lot better, especially in terms of bowling changes. Uh, yeah, I mean, some of the bowling, some of the decision making, especially with the choice of slower balls, was very, very frustrating for me to watch, because on a pitch like Dharamshala, you don't bowl slower balls. It's not a Chennai. It's not a Lucknow for the matter. The slow ball is going to sit up on you, and you can clear it with ample amount of time. And as a spectator watching it, I know that's going to happen. As a bowler, I really do. And that was just a dumb decision from them. I really am going to be very straightforward in saying that, because dewy conditions, trying to ball knuckle balls, trying to ball those back of the hand ball, it's just going to sit up. And even the Rabadas, the sixth with Riyan Parag ahead of the free hit, there was no need to ball that slower ball. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say, right? So that's where I felt Punjab throughout the season has been very poor in terms of decision making, especially when it comes to on the field choices.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Shikhar Dhawan started out as being the laid back captain cool for me, and I think for a lot of people out there when the IPL started. But as it fizzled out, and after his injury, I think this from being one of the best captains in the start of the tournament, for not actually putting a lot of pressure on the bowlers and his fielding side, I think he has turned out to be the worst captain so far. I mean, you have a lot of close runners, but I think Shikhar Dhawan was a big disappointment for me when you talk about just in terms of his captaincy. And also, once he was back after that injury, his batting record also, I mean, from averaging some 222 or 224 before his injury to coming back and scoring just 140 runs of the next 8 games or 9 games is absolutely, I mean, rubbish from Shikhar Dhawan. I mean, he was not 100% fit. You might uh, argue over there. And also, I think the bowlers were bowling out of place because I understand that they needed wickets in the middle. But when you have a bowling lineup where Rabada is not in the best of forms, Sam Curran has been going at 11 runs per over, I would have fancied keeping in at least 2 overs of Arshdeep Singh towards the later end. And also, you had seen that Nathan Ellis, in the previous games, Nathan Ellis could also do the job with the ball as well. Even though he went for 11 runs, but he was a better option as compared to a Sam Curran or a Rabada. Having said that, they did not have that sixth bowling option. So Shikhar Dhawan did not really have that luxury of going to a sixth bowler. And I think Punjab Kings, where they have disappointed me the most this season, has been with their tactical calls. I mean, whenever you don't need an extra batter, they get in a Rishi Dhawan who has not really contributed with the bat or with the ball. And then you haven't really played Sikandar Raza in your team to the truest of potential. And I think with that middle order, with Matthew Short, Rajapaksha, Atharva Taide, Harmit Singh playing, almost musical chairs in that middle order. I think nothing was fixed for them. It looked like a KKR of 2018 or 2017, where Trevor Willis absolutely had no clue. Not no clue. I mean, he made all these tactical calls, but it really backfired on him. So I think all in
I
all,
mean, Sandeep, the story is just not now, isn't it? I mean, we talking about this season is just a half bit of the story, but I think we have to go maybe a couple of years ago, or like 4 years down, or maybe 5 years now, 2018 onwards. The story is just same, and that comment over here strikes me even more. I mean, it just says how a team has been poorly managed. There is no consistency. When we talk about different other teams who have not won titles, but I'm not talking about RCB here, but there is no consistency in this team. I mean, the story is the same. They're ending up number 6 every time. They have no idea whatsoever is happening in the top 4. I mean, they come very close every year. They start off so well, then you start giving them chance. Even this time around, you did rate them to be the underdog team, and I also felt this could be an underdog team because they have the artillery in them to come in
I
good
mean,
at
Abel,
any
if
point.
you just consider when they did not have the big guns, when Liam Livingston was injured or a Shikhar Dhawan was not there, they were playing baggage-free cricket. Sam Curran coming up and leading the side, playing risky cricket,
But
and it was paying off for
But
them.
that's my point over here. I mean, every year they play baggage free and fearless brand of cricket at the start of the IPL. Then they fall like this flock of cards, which is like made up of a kingdom of cards, and just falls off right there. And you have no answers. Why is it happening every season? I mean, you can pinpoint at a captain if it's happening on a continuous basis under that particular leadership. But can you blame a coach because this coach is newly appointed? He's a championship winning coach. He's a World Cup winning coach. He's done great things
And
for
he's
KKR.
a coach with the same sort of ideologies and principles that the Punjab Kings follow. I mean, even before Travis Willis arrived, Punjab Kings had the same sort of mentality of going with the tactical instincts rather than going with the same 11 or getting a fixed 11 or 12 for a certain game. They always had this intuition call on this player should play or this player should not play. And I think Trevor Bellis in the long run, I think if they can persist with Trevor Bellis, and I think they need to sort out their batting order. I mean, they can bring in these young guns. Next year, I think give this team 2-3 years under Trevor Bellis, unless they go on to change Trevor
Yeah,
Bellis
that's my
and a
point.
steady
I think
captain.
2 3 years is a good time for any coach, but then I think it's a cutthroat competition. IPL. I
Yeah.
kind of I kind of maybe give a reference from NBA for that matter, or maybe even from football. Nowadays sport has moved into that level where I don't think there's persistence or people are not ready to persist because there's a lot of stakes. I mean, there's a lot of money involved in this. Number one, number two, you have to perform. If you don't perform, I don't think people are ready to give that longer rope as such. So that is one factor which I'll definitely say. I mean, the pressure and the Punjab management has been maybe the orchestrators of being cutthroat the moment you don't show any sign. I mean, Kumble was a failure for me. I mean, he did not show me any signs. He was tactically off as a coach. I mean, he made baffling decisions which made no sense to me. They choked under pressure a lot of times. But I at least believe this team did not choke under pressure. This team showed fight on more occasions. That's one thing I'll give it to this team. Number two, what I really feel, I don't know. I can't really jump at this point of stage as well. Are they going to replace Shikhar Dhawan next season? Quite possibly. So maybe they might bring in Sam Curran as a captain for next season. I know it's very early to say the season has just gotten over for them. But I do not know what's possibly going to happen for this team. The future holds good for them. That's something which we talk about Punjab every single season. And I am right now sitting here with no answers. Often when I analyze teams, I can pinpoint at an issue. Okay, RCB's middle order being an issue for that matter, or RCB's bowling being an issue. But now what's the issue? You got the players. Every season is different issues. You got sometimes top orders does not work. Sometimes there's intent issues. Sometimes the bowling is just lackluster. So here I am. I'm absolutely confused. Every single season, the same story continuing is something which I am unable to comprehend at this point of stage. And can we call them the worst franchise in history? And I mean, I know it's too hard a jibe at them, but you might just have to give it that. They've been the worst franchise in the history of IPL. Made it to IPL
I think
playoff two times.
there are close competition from Delhi Capitals as well. I mean,
No,
Delhi Daredevils,
I
Delhi
think Delhi Capitals is a
Capitals.
much improved team in the recent past. Maybe in the last 2 years, yes. But Delhi Capitals look like they can do things. I mean,
But they
I mean they're
haven't.
trying good
They
things.
look like they can do things, but apart from that 2012 campaign, they haven't looked to be going on to win the
2020 was
trophy.
a good one. 2020 was a good one. 2021 was a
Uh,
good one. 2019 was a good one. I mean, they had a good run for 3 years in a row. But Punjab since 2014 has done nothing. Let's be honest about that. We're talking
yeah.
Punjab in 2009 and 2014. And you're talking about 9 years now. They've not made a final. They've not made the playoffs. They're not even final. If a team is making playoffs, I at least say they're good. They're coming very, very close. But if the team is not doing anything, what's the point? You're not winning. You're absolutely in the you're middle half of the table. Every year you're going into an auction trying to spend hell lot of money. I mean, like how many amount I try to spend on this team? I mean, you're trying to spend a large chunk of money every auction, trying to change a captain, trying to change a coach. 15, 13 captains in 15 years. I mean, that in itself says a story. I mean, I'm repeating what I'm trying to say every season. I told you at the start of the season. It's the same story for Punjab. I have no hopes on them until unless they prove me wrong completely in a season where they go to the playoffs and I'm going to be like, oh wow, they've done it. Until then, I'm going to keep doubting them. Even if they're leading the table at the end of the halfway mark, I'm going to be saying that they still don't give me the confidence because this team has got the tendency to drop off time and time again. I'm not a Punjab fan, but I can feel for their fans. I can feel for that franchise at this point in time because that's been the most frustrating franchise in the history of IPL or in the history of any league for that matter. I'm
But you
not
know,
saying a
honestly,
team.
I won't criticize them up to such an extent in this season, because I feel that they have really pushed their capabilities and pushed their
I don't
limits.
think so.
Because
I don't think so, Sanjay man.
at
Because
the
you're gonna
start
see.
of the season, if you would have,
I
I
mean,
mean, I pitted them as the underdogs to go on and do well in the tournament. But if you ask 10 people, I think 9 of them would have said Punjab Kings 4 wins out of 14. And especially if in the middle you would have, if you would have
I
asked
would
me,
have given them a chance to finish at number 6, number 5, but finishing at 8, below, just below KKR, and just above Delhi Capitals, and Delhi Capitals can also topple them if they really want to against Chennai Super Kings. So they go number 9 if possibly. So that's what I'm trying to say, right? I mean, SRH has had a horrific season. SRH has had the worst season possible, right? And I think Punjab
so
has got.
so has Delhi Capitals. I mean, both of them have had a horrific season. And also, if you talk about Punjab Kings, I'll say this is a team in transition, because you can call it new coach, and I feel they would have done. I mean, better if they would have continued with a Sam Curran when they
I
were winning.
still think you're being too kind to them because every season they're in transition. I don't think there's any season where they've not
Yeah,
been in.
that is what my point is. I mean, if they go on next season and replace a Trevor Bellis, or get Sam Curran off in the market and look to buy him for a smaller amount, I think that is when they'll go wrong. Because if you have the talent, if you think you have the players, you have the youngsters who can win you games. That we have seen in the in this season of the tournament. Even when the big guns are not performing, even when the big guns are out injured, they have still gone on to win some of the games. So I think if you have the youngster and the capability to go out there and perform,
Yeah. So
I
whom do
think
you
you should
blame for
persist.
this? Is it the
I think it's
owners?
the management. I think I won't be harsh on the players, because I think it's totally the management out there. And then
I mean, I've
I'll
never
keep coach out
questioned
of it.
any management in history, but then I think one management who really makes reckless decisions right on the face of it is the Punjab Kings management. And I personally feel at this point of stage, players are also worried to be playing there. I mean, you give Captain Shikhar, I'm pretty sure Shikhar feels pressure at this point of stage where he feels like my captaincy can go away in like next season, maybe in a few hours from now. There could be a new captain for the next season already.
But
So
that is why it was so surprising and it was so refreshing for a change, that Shikhar Dhawan, with this sort of a pressure out of the Indian team, out of every position, given the captaincy of Punjab Kings, probably the worst franchise in the history of the IPL, started off the season with on a roll. I mean, 232 runs in the first 3 games, and I think it was his injury that was the turning point. But I won't really blame that, because that gave Punjab Kings the opportunity to try a Prabh Singh, or gave opportunities to players like Atharva Taide, Harmeet Singh coming good for them.
I'll never buy injury as an excuse for any team at this point of stage. Look at Mumbai Indians for that matter, or Chennai Super
I mean,
Kings.
yeah,
They've had
every team,
injuries.
every
They've,
team.
they've
And
really
when
come good. Look at
at the
RCB.
start of
RCB
the
did not have.
season,
RCB
yeah.
still does not have a fit Josh Hazelwood. They lost Rajat Patidar, who is their bank Indian domestic batter for
And
the
also
season.
talking about one of the best teams this season, Rajasthan Royals. You talked about Trent Bolt, but they are
Yeah,
also missing Prasidh Krishna. I think Prasidh Krishna
exactly
in
my
that
point.
team,
So
they would have absolutely steamrolled through this league stage if Prasidh would have been there, because their
I don't
injury
buy
trouble.
injuries as an
Yeah.
issue at all at this point of stage because you go into an auction with 25 players and you have the luxury to choose 25 players and you can call replacements as well if need be. I can understand if it was domestic talent for that matter, if it was someone like a Prabh Simran Singh and
But you
Shikhar
have to
Dhawan.
understand, if it is your senior most player who is also the captain of the side.
Yeah, I can buy that, but you know what? I really don't buy that either. And there are a lot of other teams have gone through this season.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's another bad
I don't,
season
I
for
don't
Punjab Kings, and they finish probably eighth,
I
I
mean,
think.
if you want to find excuses every season for Punjab, then there is only excuses for Punjab. I mean, let's
Yeah.
talk about 2020, 2018, 2019. Every season they've choked. And we often talk about different teams for choking,
Yeah,
but
but
I
they
think,
did not choke this time around. That is my point. I mean, this time you can
I
just
mean, if you ask me, they did not choke, I'll say they did choke. I mean, look, they had 4 points at the start of the season, and they've only gained 8 points in in
12
the next
match,
12
12
games.
matches. Yeah.
And that's equal to 4 wins in the next 10 games, and that is just unacceptable, and that is just
And
ridiculously
they
bad.
robbed 2 points out of KKR in the very first game itself.
I mean, there are
I
games
mean,
where you can say
otherwise.
there are games where you can say they maybe did not deserve those 2 points as well. So I really don't make I can't complain. I mean, there was a very good win against Chennai Super Kings, which made you go like, wow, this team has got something about them. The different Rajasthan Royals in that game in
Yeah,
Guwahati, where you
I
were like,
think the win
wow.
against Chennai Super Kings, I have seen a lot of impressive 200 plus run chases, but I think that chase at MA Chidambaram, I'll rate that as the highest for Punjab Kings. Not just Punjab Kings, I think best run chase this season was that. I won't say Mumbai Indians scoring 200 for fun was something that I did not like to see. But I think if you talk about conditions, challenges, and with the batting lineup that did not, that one felt would struggle against the likes of Jadeja, Moeen Ali, they actually, and Thikshana, they came out and they scored 201. I think that is the highest and probably the only high point that they'll take out of this season, along with
Mm.
the form of players like Jitesh Sharma. I think he has been, once again, for second season in a row, he has been a revelation, and I would
I
love to
agree.
see
I mean,
him
there are some
as a finisher.
really
Yeah.
good standout performers. Okay, I mean, if you look at the Punjab team and you feel like, wow, there are some really good players who can go out there and do a job. Especially when it comes to batting, Jitesh Sharma, Shah Rukh Khan has really come good this season. He's showing the potential what he can do. Let's talk about Atharva Thaide did come good in a couple of games. Prabhsimran Singh for that matter. Then you got Liam Livingston there, Sam Curran, Sikandar Raza as well. So there's a lot of potential in that team, but then there is no finishing touches there. I mean, they're not unable to cross the line. I cannot explain at this point to see what is the reason behind it. I think the bowling has been the biggest letdown for them. If they had the bowling supporting them at this time, at some point in the season, they conceding 200 on consistent basis, like 257, 200s. I mean, that's been the biggest letdown for them. I mean, I can't really explain how Rabada, Arshdeep, and Sam Curran has been a very big disappointment in this season. Being the leading wicket taker in the World Cup to having a doldrum of a season. I don't think it's a price tag. It's just that he's been figured out a lot more. In Australia, with those bigger boundaries, the short pitch ball is so much more effective because that those sixers which went could have been catches in Australia for that matter, or even those slower balls maybe sitting up could have been catches if they missed time one. But here
And
his Yorkers was
pretty,
not
I
improved.
mean, just talk about, I mean, if you are talking about the, he's been predictable and people have found him out, but I think it's also laziness on his part, because you could see him not trying to, he was trying those bouncers when the field was set for a wide, outside of delivery. He has not implemented or executed his plan according, not bowled according to the field, not bowled according to the conditions. He has relied on his slower delivery way too much. And I think if he would have, tried to do what he did in that, T20 World Cup, that is stuck to his Yorkers in the later half of the innings, I think he would have been much successful. But there was absolutely rubbish, execution from his end, and that is
I
something
don't
you don't
blame
expect
Sam
from him.
Curran's batting. I mean, Sam Curran is
No, I
not the
think
greatest
Sam Curran's
batter.
batting was one
Sam
of the
Curran's
positives.
primary role is to win you games with the ball, and then whatever he adds with the bat is just an added value. I mean, if you're considering him as a number six, I don't really consider him as a number six. He's a number seven who can come in and tong the ball. I think he's still growing and developing as a batter per se, but as a bowler, his primary skill being a bowling all rounder, he's been a massive letdown. As 50 average is not good enough, and his economy being more than 10 is
And see,
just
whatever he adds with the bat does not really count, because whatever value he adds with the bat, he goes on to give, equal or probably more with the ball when he's bowling, and does not pick up. And the surprising thing for me is, Sam Curran in the prior seasons as well, he was quite expensive, with his bowling figures, but he was picking up those wickets frequently. But this time around, you have what, he played 14 games, picked up 7 or 8 wickets, and went at an economy rate of close to 11, I mean 12 or 11. So that is not justified for me. I mean, and then I understand that he was bowling the death overs, he was bowling at IS Bindra Cricket Stadium, but still, for a player, uh, who was rated as highly as Sam Curran at the start of the, IPL, to go out there and perform like that was a disappointment. And I think Rabada as well. I think the foreign pacers, apart from, I think Nathan Ellis has looked really good, in whatever opportunities that he has got. And I think he's the future look going forward in the tournament. I think Riley Meredith and Nathan Ellis are the future, stars who will come out of the IPL. But talking about Rabada as well, I think Rabada will be pretty disgusted with his performance as well. I mean, yes, not 100% fit, has been succumbed to injuries, and has been preferred, under. I mean, Nathan Ellis has been given more preference by the Punjab Kings management, by Shikhar Dhawan, over a Rabada. But I think he has justified it, because whenever Rabada has looked in no, form whatsoever, you haven't seen the Rabada of the old. You have seen a
yeah.
Rabada who just looks to come in and just, bowl a good length delivery. I think his effort of trying to bowl a Yorker has diminished rapidly after 2020, 2021. I know he picked up a lot of wickets in the last season of the IPL as well, but most of it was slower deliveries, and the conditions were helping him. So bowling in a flat track, this was something that Rabada is not expected to do. Go at 10-11 runs per over and not pick as many wickets for you in a much needed game.
I think more than anything, his death bowling is really depleted. You know, he had this very good Yorker, which he used to really use it to the best of his effect. I mean, that's really gone out of the play. And his ability to swing the ball and pick up wickets up front, that's also gone out of the window. I mean, in 2019, which I thought was his best season ever, even 2020 for the matter was pretty decent, but 2019 was where he really, really was like on top of his game, isn't it? Where he was picking up wickets on consistent basis. I think there was every game where he picked up a wicket, and until 2020, there was a streak where he did not miss a game without picking up a wicket. So that's what we're talking about Rabada, right? He had a reputation in the IPL. He is possibly one of the greatest to have played the IPL. If you look in terms of stats as well, in terms of quickest to picking up wickets. So that's what really concerns me, because the way in which he's dropped. I mean, we talk about Sam Curran's bowling average being pretty shabby, especially close to 50 and economy rate close to 10.22. But we have to talk about Rabada there because who for me has been bigger disappointment than anybody else, because Rabada has picked up just 6 wickets in the entire IPL, gone more than 10.3, and also his average has been 33. So I know he's only played 6 games, but the fact of the matter is, whenever he's played, he's not really looked like, okay, he's going to go out there and pick up a wicket for me anytime. He's considered once at plenty in this IPL. Whenever there has been an opening, Rabada has been the bowler who they've targeted, and that's not a good thing, isn't it? He's considered 138 runs.
And this season,
rate of
especially for the
10.2.
fast bowlers, especially if you talk about the fast bowlers, Andrick Norkie, a Rabada, a Lockie Ferguson, or a Jofra Archer, previous seasons, the batsmen were afraid to face those 4 overs. I won't say afraid, but they were skeptical. They wanted to play this prime bowlers out because more often than not, Andrick Norkie, Jofra Archer, Kagiso Rabada, Lockie Ferguson were picking up wickets, no matter how many runs they were
You know
considering.
what? I'll just add to that. I think Rabada, the bowler, has been on a decline overall, not just in T20, even in Test matches.
Yeah,
It's
he
not been Rabada
had a horrible season. I think 2023 has been one of the worst for Rabada so far.
Yeah, I mean, he's not picked up wickets even as a Test bowler there. I mean, he did pick up wickets in patches, but he's bowling plenty of no balls in Test. Rhythm looks off. I don't know what has happened. It's not an injury. He's not stayed out of the game for long because of an injury, which you can point out and say, okay, after the injury, he's not really looked the shape. But there has been a decline in a way which I've not seen. I mean, batters go through it, but it's about time we talk about the bowling form of certain bowlers, because we don't talk about it. Because bowlers, they come and they get away with it, I feel sometimes. Because batters out of form is pretty much more glaring. But Rabada, the bowler, the decline in form has been very, very glaring. And that's been the harshest part about Rabada, isn't it? And whichever team has him, maybe he's going to be released next season.
Yeah, exactly. And I was coming to the point that apart from, say, a Mohammad Shami, who has done exceedingly well with the ball at the top, and a Mohammad Siraj, and also you can say partly Arshdeep Singh was good enough, Mohit Sharma has been good in patches, but some of the frightful bowlers who used to come in at great pace, Umran Malik, high things were expected from a Umran Malik, a Kartik Tyagi, or say from the foreign talent, Lockie Ferguson, Jofra Archer, Kagiso Rabada, Andrick Norkie. All these prime pacers who can come in and clock 150 kilometers per hour have really struggled this season. And I think you can sort of say that the pitches conditions were easier for the batters to bat. And hence we have seen the average score go up from, say, a 160, 170 to high 180, 190s this season. But then we have also had matches where they have, there has been games where 130, 140 has been defended. And not just because they were dead tracks at Ekana, but also other conditions where you have a brilliant spell from a Mohammad Shami or a Mohit Sharma coming in the middle overs doing a great job, Tushar Deshpande picking up wickets, Deepak Chahar picking up early wickets. But these pacers who come in and clock 150 kilometers per hour, these players have really struggled this season. And I think apart from the swing bowlers, the pacers haven't really turned up to the IPL. And I think pitches are partly to be blamed because you can't go on and blame all these world-class bowlers that you suddenly lost form. So I think when you talk about the dip in the form for all the high-paced bowlers, you have to talk about the pitch conditions and which are not really conducive like the last season when they played at Pune, Maharashtra. Still, still it's no excuse for world-class bowlers like Rabada or Andrick Norkie to have such a slump in form because it has affected their teams in a great way. Because you see teams teams for whom the fast bowlers have done a great job. Mohammad Siraj for RCB, Mohammad Shami for Gujarat Titans, partly Tushar Deshpande picking up wickets for CSK. They are all at the top of the table. And
Hmm.
where Pacers have really struggled, a KKR with Umesh Yadav, they finally had to get rid of Umesh
Yeah.
Yadav.
Yeah.
And you have seen the trend. Enric Norke, Delhi
I
Capitals at the
think
bottom.
it comes down to domestic paces as well. I mean, you talk about foreign paces doing a job, but whichever team has had decent domestic paces, they've done well. You talk about GT, as you mentioned, right there.
And that is
Chennai,
why the dip in Sunrisers
yeah.
Hyderabad's form is so alarming, because they
I mean,
had
even
all
for
the domestic
Mumbai, for
pacers.
that matter, they've had Akash Madhwal towards the Latvian, who's done a job with as a domestic pacer, or
Great job
even
coming in.
yeah, Chennai Super Kings, or even LSD for that matter. Avesh Khan, Mohsin Khan, Yash Thakur has done a good job there. Even that's what you're right. I mean, domestic spacers we don't rate them often because we feel there is abundance of talent in India, but that's not the case anymore. You have plenty of talent, and whoever has done well as domestic pacers, they're on top four at this point, and the other teams are yet to follow. Now talk about KKR, Punjab, or anyone on the matter. You know, everybody, all
Yeah.
domestic pacing talents, whoever has fallen apart quite drastically. I think it's about time a lot of teams do realize it. I think this season has shown it even more. You need to have a domestic pacer who can go out there and pick up wickets. And Harshal Patel and Siraj has done that. Mohammad Shami has done that quite well with Mohit Sharma. I think Mohit Sharma and
And
Mohammad Shami
also,
took
I
the
think if
water
you
wicket.
even if you have all the domestic talents in the world for Sunrisers Hyderabad, I think you need to have an Indian think tank, at least
Yeah.
somebody from the Indian think tank at the top who has an idea about what this domestic talents can do.
But, you know, for me, what's surprising is Sunrise Hyderabad only had major domestic paces and they've not done well. That's the difference, right? They've
Yeah, I
had
mean, they
good.
haven't been utilized well. I think Aiden Markram, Brian Lara first season as a coach, long way to go, but I think not a very promising start because they
Yeah.
had the team. Sunrisers
Yeah.
Hyderabad were one of the strongest teams on paper, if you
Yeah.
consider pre-tournament favorites, one might say. But the way they
Absolutely.
have gone about it is disappointing. But coming back to
Absolutely.
Rajasthan Royals, I think they'll be very gutted with their performance, like you mentioned. I mean, to start off the season in such a dominant fashion, and they had everything, but it's their over reliance on that top order. You have seen a Josh Butler's dip in form. You cannot expect a Yashasvi Jaiswal to come in every day and go
Yeah.
score 50, 60 runs
Yeah.
for fun, which Josh
Yeah.
Butler was doing last
Yeah.
season. You have seen
Absolutely.
Yashasvi Jaiswal scoring runs for fun this season. So I think
Yeah.
that one of the top two going on to have this 600 run, 650 run season has really helped Rajasthan Royals to win these matches. Otherwise, the way the entire team has performed as an unit, I think they have been subpar, especially that middle order batting and the bowling. I mean, you can say not enough domestic depth with Sandeep Sharma coming in. I think he has revived quite a bit. But
Yeah.
when you have Kuldeep Sen, Kuldeep Yadav waiting in the ranks, not being utilized probably,
Yeah.
I think Sanju Samson is another captain who could have done better. I had high expectations from Sanju Samson, the captain, and the batter. I mean, as a batter, he has done a good enough job, decent enough job.
Yeah.
I don't think whether it will be good enough for him to get a call up because Team Indian selectors don't really love him. We know at this point. But I
Yeah.
think as a captain, I have been really disappointed at how Sanju Samson has really operated. He
Yeah.
did not
I
have
agree.
that death bowling option, but that's not no excuse for having world class spinners. You have Adam Zampa, Yuzvendra Chahal, Ravichandran Ashwin, and a pitch which
Yeah.
has assistance for the spinners. And still, you end up winning only 7 out of the 14 games after having a great start. That is not acceptable, and I think you have to blame Sanju Samson, the captain, a slight bit, management a slight bit, and I think that middle order batting a whole lot.
Yeah. I mean, that's something they'll have to talk about and sort it out next season. I mean, that's about it from us for tonight. I mean, we've covered almost everything about the Punjab versus Rajasthan game, the issues with Punjab Kings as a whole. So we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's doubleheader weekend. So we'll be back because tomorrow we're going to see who's going to stay in the IPL
The
and who's going to
penultimate
go
day
off.
of the league
So,
stage tomorrow.
so it's the penultimate day of the league stage in IPL, and let's see how it goes because it is the showtime in IPL, final showtime, the final weekend before we go to the finals. So
So
that's about
Chennai
it. Thank
needs
you
a
guys
win
for
tomorrow. Chennai needs a win tomorrow, and KKR needs to win with a positive net run rate of close to 0.42 to at least stay in the competition to surpass
yeah, I
Rajasthan
mean,
Royals. That is
let's,
going to be
let's
a heck
just
lot of a job.
see what goes down. I mean, two mouth-watering clashes. If Chennai doesn't get a win tomorrow, it doesn't look good, isn't it? It doesn't look good. I mean, that's gonna be some fall right there. And if even for KKR, you know, they hold the aces
I mean, if
against them.
Chennai loses tomorrow, all their hopes will be on KKR to win, so that Lucknow Super Giants
Yeah, yeah.
loses.
Not just that, they'll have all hopes on SRH and GT as well after that. So
But I
let's see.
think day after tomorrow, I would back both Mumbai and RCB to have the better of GT and SRH.
All depends on the weather. I was just looking at the weather. Next 5 days, it's rain predicted, guys. So Bangalore, man, come on. you're better than this. You don't have to bring your weather right now, right here. I mean, you have better days to bring out your weathers. And
But Bangalore has a greater net run rate than Lucknow Super Giants, right?
I'm just checking that 1 second. They do have a better. No, they don't. They don't have a better net run rate than Lucknow
Oh.
Super Giants.
Then it's really interesting because even if Lucknow loses tomorrow and CSK loses tomorrow, they still will have a superior net run rate
Yeah, then
when
they'll have to
compared to
really hope that
RCB.
first match Mumbai loses just stay in the tournament. So, I mean, I don't know, Bangalore. I really hope you don't disappoint because the luck, bro,
Still,
luck can
Abel,
ask you.
still this is by far the most exciting IPL. I mean, just 4 games left, just 2 days of cricket left, and you still have 3 slots to fill. You have no idea what those 3 slots will
Bro.
be.
Crazy IPL, crazy day. I mean, I do not know. I just hope it is not the luck of Bangalore right now spoiling RCB from joining. I mean, I'd be disappointed if it has to come down to rain. I mean, I'll be happy if we lose. We lose by fair and square game set and match. We lose. We lose to GT. I'm happy with that. But if rain has to do it, nothing to say. I just think it is some bad luck which associated with Bangalore because if you look, it does not rain for last 2 to 3 weeks properly. It rains after night 12 in the night, and all of a sudden that prediction of rain on Sunday from evening 5 to night 9 does not look good for me. So
I
let's
mean,
hope.
no matter what they win or lose, we are going to be back tomorrow and day after tomorrow with all the
Yes.
exciting coverage.
So yes, absolutely, I'm right. And Bangalore weather. I know one thing about meteorological department in Bangalore. I'm taking a dig on, but they're pretty bad. So they predict things very badly. So I hope they're wrong once again.